Got my notes. The notes say loud. Review done. Avenade are a band that really deserve way more attention than they're currently getting. I could have thrown this in the overlooked, underrated albums video that I did. It ticks that box quite easily. They are a pretty new band. I don't know much about them other than the fact that my boy Ricky reviewed this album a little while ago. So since then it's been on my radar, but I'm only now just getting to it for my final review of 2019 before I get into the lists, the official lists. Which, spoilers by the way, this will be making the list because it's fucking great. It's a very daring debut album, a la Black MIDI earlier in the year, as they were pretty much dropping some of the most daring rock music that we've heard in quite a while on their very first album. You got that very dirty rock and roll riff. It all feels familiar to begin with on the first track, but then as soon as you hit the second track, Just Smile and Wave Boys, everything just suddenly becomes distorted and murky. The singer is letting out yelps on this track, very reminiscent of stuff like Zach De La Rocha was doing on the first Rage Against the Machine album, but then those previous yelps turning to full-on screams on the track Painfully Pleased, which is a complete hellish nightmare of a song in the greatest sense. The track Obsession hits the midway point, and as soon as you get to that point of the track, it's over. It's over for everyone. The screams are so fierce, it gets completely devilish. In the best kind of way, by the way. All of these negative words I'm using are very much a positive thing. And what I find really impressive as well is that even amongst this dissonance and noise, you get these moments where the singer is just singing incredibly well on the choruses. That reminds me a lot of like bands like Refused or At the Drive-In. The way these singers just had an immense amount of talent and versatility, the way they could, you know, go from screaming to singing very well the next second. It's frantic, and I think it could definitely put people off, but I love as well that the versatility doesn't just end there, because you have the one track that just goes completely shoegaze, a complete detour into Dear Misery, this shoegaze droney piece. It just feels like it fits. I don't know how. It's so out of place, and yet it's not out of place at the same time. Stylistically, it's a complete change, but yet they keep it murky and in the exact same environment that the rest of the album is in. I really love this track. But of course, they continue to hit you with the mass amounts of noise and chaos on tracks like Trainwreck, which are equally as satisfying as this one shoegaze piece. I wouldn't say I'm completely engaged with the very lengthy, like 17-minute track though. I mean, it is two tracks, two halves of a track, but I don't know, I just kind of lose a bit of focus at that point. It's not the most compelling moment on the album. It could be to do with the length. I don't know if they keep it completely interesting for the entire runtime, but I feel like this band has it in them to do this even better on a future release. I would just say this is the one point of the album that didn't quite do it for me. It could be the placement of the track as well, as the second to last track, and September Secrets closes out the album perfectly. Honestly, it's just this ghoulish mess of a track that I think just encapsulates everything that they were doing up until that point, and it couldn't have ended any other way. Have It Your Way though completely reminds me of a band like Walrus, where they utilize the noisiness and the shoegaze and turn it into a complete wall of sound, and you've got the vocalist completely buried in the second half of the track. You know me, I love me some Walrus. This is just reminding me of that. He's just shouting into the abyss. His voice is managing to travel through. It's such a euphoric moment on the album. I absolutely love it. So yeah, it's fucking great. It's a fucking great album. I'm so happy I checked this out right as I was about to finalize my list, because I would have definitely regretted doing my list and then hearing this later on and then being like, why didn't I add this? 8.5 out of 10. As I say, this is the final review of the year, I believe, unless anything comes out between Christmas and New Year that I might suddenly decide, I should review that. But unless nothing does come out in that period, then yeah, this should be the last review of the year. Hopefully you got a recommendation for your year-end list right at the end here. I think this is a great release, one of the best rock albums of the year, easily. Thank you for watching, have a good day, and goodbye.